Good morning, Internet. My name is MilkDucks, and this is Nazi Zombies on Call of the Dead. So, you guys, if you've been watching this channel, you're probably a pretty big Call of Duty fan, right? You know what's going to happen next week. Modern Warfare 3 is going to be here in just a few days, and we are all super excited about it, but I still have a commentary to do, and I decided, what the hell, let's play some zombies this time. It'll be something different. And, because I don't just play multiplayer, I always try to make sure I finish the campaign on Veteran pretty early on. And, I mine out as many achievements as possible, but, it's not a priority. It's basically just something I do when nobody else is online to play multiplayer with me. I didn't get all the zombies achievements in Black Ops, not because I didn't want to. I really enjoyed it, but basically because I don't have 3 other friends who want to sit down for 2.5 hours to really grind out those long ones. But anyway, I really just kind of wanted to use this time to talk about Black Ops because, I've said this before, but I really, really like Black Ops, and I know a lot of people don't. So I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about why that might be. Why do some people like it while others just can't stand it? And I think the answer to that question relies not actually in this game, but on the last one. Modern Warfare 2 was an incredibly polarizing game. It was the first time where you really started to see this rift generate between players, where you really started to see people, take sides. And that's because Modern Warfare 2, at its core, was a very casual game. That's kind of its strength and its weakness all at once. On the one hand, it's very accessible to new players. A lot of the weapon handling is incredibly precise. Idle sway, sort of disappeared, and weapon recoil was significantly reduced. Across the board, combat was fast, combat was lethal, because Call of Duty was still in that phase where all of the perks were sort of offensively oriented. So it was extremely accessible, and that's a good thing. You want your game to be open to new players, but at the same time, your game has to be balanced in such a way that good players will beat poor players fairly consistently. And I think anyone who has, really ever played Modern Warfare 2 will tell you that that is not how that game is set up. And what I mean by that is, I could talk about that subject for a long time. I really don't want to do that. I'm gonna try to sort of pull it around to Black Ops. So one of the major changes in Black Ops was that kill streaks no longer stack. There's no more of that, if you can get 5 kills, then the Predator will get you your Harrier, the Harrier will get you your Pavlo, or, if you can get 7 kills, your Harrier will get you your Chopper Gunner will get you your Nuke. There's really no more of that in Black Ops, and this was important because it meant 2 things. First, it meant that only people who could actually get 11 kills in a row would be able to get their dogs out. Yeah, and not counting the off chance that you could pick one up from a care package. Only people who could consistently do well would be able to consistently get top tier kill streaks. And second was that the game was going to naturally feel less exciting. And don't get me wrong, I don't think that Black Ops is boring at all. I know a lot of people say that, and I think, if my first real experience with Call of Duty was Modern Warfare 2, then yes, Black Ops would look boring to me. But I would argue that Modern Warfare 2 was too exciting. The word I always hear used to describe Modern Warfare 2 is chaotic, and I think that's the truth. It is chaotic. It feels so random that there's constant air support, because you really only need to get like 5 kills to get 3 streaks out. There are explosions everywhere, constantly. People like to say that Black Ops encouraged camping because Ghost is so prevalent. And I don't necessarily agree. Treyarch also gave us Blackbirds to completely counter it. But again, you have to actually be good to get one. You can't just rely on getting a few cheap DC tube kills. So that's one of the big ones for me. You can see the difference between a good player and a bad player in Black Ops. And again, that wasn't necessarily the case with Modern Warfare 2. And I know that I am, but I really don't want to paint this picture where only noobs like Modern Warfare 2, because that's not the case at all. But Modern Warfare 2 did encourage a lot of bad habits, and Black Ops, I think in general, was an attempt to steer the series back toward what it had been in the past, which was a very gun versus gun type of series. And in that, I think that they did a good job. I think that Black Ops is a very gun versus gun game. Yeah, noob tubes are still around, but if they really bother you, Treyarch's given you the option of wearing Flak Jacket. There are still Claymores, there are still C4. You can't infinitely resupply them, and again, you have the option of wearing Flak Jacket or even running Hacker in your third tier, so you can still see those explosives, but you can wear something else like Ghost or Scavenger instead, something that's more along the lines of your playstyle. Black Ops really gave us options for our classes. Before Black Ops, the series, like I said before, was very offensively oriented from a perk standpoint. You had options, of course, and they were all okay, but it really only came down to, well, do you want to do more damage with your bullets, or do you want to do more damage with your explosives? That is not the case with Black Ops. It's more like, well, do you want to be invisible on the radar? Do you want protection from explosives? Do you want to be able to resupply your ammo and grenades? Do you want to move faster? Do you want to be able to get your kill streaks out more consistently? I mean, these are actual choices. It isn't just stopping power versus Juggernaut, or stopping power versus Danger Close, or whatever. But to be fair, I mean, I sometimes feel like Treyarch maybe included a bit too much customization. It doesn't affect gameplay really, but it does kind of feel like a waste of resources sometimes. I mean, they made a big deal about this whole create a class 2.0 thing with Black Ops, and we were told that we would have like unprecedented customization over our characters, and I guess that's true, but it really isn't what was advertised, in my opinion. I mean, Treyarch had said, well, in the past, the way your character looked was dependent on what weapon he carried. All snipers looked the same, or all shotgunners looked the same, and that's true. And I can get behind the idea of changing that. Their solution was to have your appearance based on your primary perk, though. All ghosts look the same, for example, or all scavengers. I see why that's important, but it really wasn't what they said. It's kind of the same thing, in my opinion. We do have some control over the way our character looks, though, beyond that, like face paint primarily, which is pretty generic. I mean, I don't even bother with it, to be honest. Sometimes I put that Blitz paint on, but just in general, I think it's kind of a wasted feature. The same thing can kind of be said for gun customization. And don't get me wrong, I really like the emblem editor. I think it's a great tool for creative people to do really interesting things. I personally got a lot of enjoyment out of it. My little milk duck symbol, I think, is really cool. Nobody else is ever going to have that. It's something that I can really claim and feel like, yeah, that's me. But the rest of the stuff, I mean, the ability to change the color of your lens, or change the reticle of your red dot to look like a skull or a heart or a Treyarch symbol or something. I mean, again, I just think it's kind of a useless utility. I really don't know anyone who uses it. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys are even actually paying attention to this gameplay, but, I just made a pretty big mistake. I mean, I picked up that insta-kill, and I went in for the knife on one of those zombies coming up out of the ground, and I just got blindsided by another one coming up out from the lighthouse. And, that's pretty common. I mean, what I find with zombies is that it's generally the little things that are going to get you. When you're playing a game for almost 2 hours, you slip up sometimes, and it's kind of a snowball effect. But that's sort of the cool thing about Nazi Zombies, though, is that it's all about endurance. It's about high score. I mean, you're never going to actually win. You kind of set your own win condition. You set your own bar, and if you can reach it, that's awesome. But you're eventually going to die. And yeah, I mean, that's Nazi Zombies. But you know what? I've got about a minute left, and so I decided to throw in some bonus footage that I've kind of been collecting over the past couple of weeks. I had been toying around, I guess, with the idea of doing a bit of a montage, but I abandoned that project pretty early on because I just don't play that way. I did get a few clips that I feel, somebody might find interesting, so I'll just let these play out, and with the time I've got left, I'd just like to sort of reiterate that Modern Warfare 3 is going to be out in the next couple of days, and I'm going to hit it pretty hard. I do plan on taking a break Wednesday morning to sort of go over the footage that I've collected and bring you guys a little commentary with my first impressions, so please stay tuned for that. And thank you again, really, for sticking with me, guys. You guys kick ass. So thank you again. As always, my name is Milk Ducks, and until I see you in Modern Warfare 3, quack quack.